At the entrance of almost every Shiva temple in the world, a stone bull sits in quiet reverence, staring directly into the inner sanctum. This is Nandi. He is the commander of the Ganas, Shiva's divine attendants, and the supreme deity's constant companion. It is easy to look at these ancient monuments and assume this entity was always a god, forged as an immortal beast at the beginning of time. But according to the Puranic texts, Nandi's story begins far away from the divine realm. He entered the world as a doomed, entirely mortal human child. Tracing his path from a fragile boy to an eternal icon suggests that even the most powerful divine symbols can have their roots in intense human struggle. Centuries ago, a sage named Shilad Muni lived with a single desperate ambition. He wanted to father a child who would never face the end of life. To reach this goal, Shilad performed a tapasya, a period of extreme physical and spiritual penance, directed with total focus toward Mahadev. Mahadev, satisfied by the sage's grueling discipline, eventually appeared and granted the request for a child who would transcend death. Soon after, during a sacred ritual, a human infant emerged from the flames of a sacrificial fire. Shilad named the child Nandi. From the moment he was found, Nandi exhibited a singular trait. He was naturally drawn to the worship of Mahadev, spending his early years in a state of constant devotion. This birth created a strange contradiction. Nandi was a gift from the gods, yet he was still trapped within the degradable, temporary vessel of a human body. That mortality was confirmed when two visiting sages arrived at Shilad Muni's ashram to inspect the child. Their prophecy was grim. They revealed that Nandi's life was destined to be cut short, fating the boy to an early death. While his father was overcome with grief, Nandi did not react with despair. Instead, he chose to challenge the limits of the fate he had been handed. He returned to the same practice his father had used, tapasya. He aimed to use the sheer weight of his devotion to divert his path and bypass his biological deadline. He entered a deep, isolated meditation, focusing so completely on Shiva that the ticking clock of his own mortality became irrelevant to his consciousness. The pressure of his meditation grew until the divine order responded. Mahadev manifested physically to meet the boy whose focus disturbed the cosmic silence. Mahadev removed the threat of death and officially granted Nandi the immortality that had been promised to his father. The boy's survival suggests that in this tradition, the boundaries of fate are not absolute. A mortal's resolve can become a weight heavy enough to tilt the balance of universal laws. Simply surviving was only the first step. Mahadev intended to give Nandi a permanent place within the divine hierarchy. He began a total physical transformation, dissolving Nandi's human form and reconstructing his essence into the shape of a massive, majestic bull. This new form came with a new title. Mahadev appointed the bull as the supreme commander of all his divine followers and attendants. Finally, he designated Nandi as his Vahana, his divine vehicle, forming a bond that would remain unbroken for eternity. The Nandi statues guarding modern temples stand as the final evidence of that resolve, a mortal who became so essential to the divine that the laws of nature were rewritten to keep him there forever.